Hello,
How's it going? You all good?
how are you?
Yeah, all well, thank you.
You're upside
Um,
down.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's better. What's going on?
How's Same old? Just trying to tick over in a bit, and yeah, just a bit of a horrible day over here in England. So yeah,
Same
just
as
doing what I
here.
can.
Same in Dublin. It's raining. Yeah,
Oh, it's been horrible.
yeah. Well, you're a bit of the man of the moment this week.
Oh yeah, I've had a mad, absolute crazy week with publicity and everything. Obviously, having a big signing, and yeah, it's all come all at once really, but it's brilliant. It's buzzing.
Yeah, it's funny because when I interviewed Tom Little like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, he made a point of talking about you, and he was like, "Lydia, if you don't know him, you have to get him on. He's turning pro, and we're kind of trying to figure out if he's going to sign with Matchroom or with Frank Warren." So I'm delighted to have you on, and especially this time of week, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, Tom's brilliant. Tom's he's a character, and he's a real nice man too. Though, yeah, he's brilliant, Tom.
He is absolutely. So, I first things first, let's get to it. Obviously, turning pro, big decision to decide to sign with Matchroom Boxing. I know you've come out this week and you said you've been a big Eddie Hearn fan, and obviously the legacy that Matchroom have built. It's obvious why you would decide to go with them. But talk to us about that. What was the kind of final decision to sign the contract?
Yeah, it all started really. I have to like track back really to my manager and S-Jam. They said when I first joined them, who did I want to sign with? And from the point go, I said Eddie Hearn. He was always the me go-to man. The main reason was he's the face of boxing to me. I think anyone in England, Frank Warren, another great promoter, but I do think anybody who doesn't know boxing, they still know Eddie Hearn. And
Hmm.
it's Sky Sports. It's the top. It's the top of the top. So it was always in my best interest to get with him. Sam said we can make it happen, and yeah, from that point onwards, it was always an upwards thing, and it all happened so quick. To be fair, Lydia, within a week and a half, I was a matchroom fighter and I was signed. So yeah, it's been a crazy week for me.
Yeah, I imagine. I imagine, and it's good to see because I mean we obviously had Sam before, your manager Sam Jones. He's come out, he's spoke about you previously, obviously with the news that you signed with him as well. And part of his, I suppose, sell of you was like a fantastic amateur talent. He's going to do fantastically well in the professional ranks, but also looks good, speaks good, is educated, can talk well, can do media well. He's a full package. And I think now,
Yeah,
even though it's been a short turnaround and it's been a week of kind of mad press, as you say, I think a lot of the boxing fans now are starting to kind of take notice. They're like, oh, this is an exciting prospect, and they'll be excited to tune in to see what happens with you.
yeah. I'm just literally exactly that. I'm just starting to get my publicity and everything. What I've just tried working hard for, and I've pushed all my life to get as much notice as possible, and now it's all starting to fall in place. It's brilliant. It's what dreams are made of, really, and I'm really enjoying my boxing, really enjoying my training, and everything's going to plan. So I'm waiting for the slip up. At the moment, it hasn't happened yet. So
Hopefully it'll never happen. Hopefully it never happen. But listen, let's talk about the
fingers
amateur
crossed.
days. Yeah, let's talk about the amateur days because was it four? Did you have like 45 fights, 50 fights?
44 fights, 40 wins.
That in itself is a major achievement. But we kind of see, now the rise of social media, the rise of the kind of fast tracking of boxers in the sport, with obviously all the TV deals and different stuff. What was the decision for you to turn pro now? Because I mean, there could be an argument there that it could be too soon, that you still probably could have done a lot more in
Yeah.
amateur. So why was the decision for you to turn over so quickly?
So yeah, a lot of people said that actually because I got picked for the European Games and having them, they got postponed. So that naturally made everyone think, well, they'll leave the Europeans and go straight to the World. So I'd have qualified for the World Games as well. So it'd been a big opportunity to medal in the world and get a world ranking. But I think things happen for a reason. And the whole coronavirus was, to be honest with you, if someone said to me 4 months ago, I would turn professional, I'd laugh at that. Do you know what I mean? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 I'm concentrating on the amateurs. It's all come quite quick, quite sharp. But I was always ready. I've been sparring pros all my life, to be honest. From 13 in the gym, just been a big boy for my age, and I was going through boys my own age and boys slightly older. Too easy, to be honest. And yeah, sadly, my coach was always taking me to pro gyms, so I had the experience from young. And then yeah, it was mad. Obviously, Europeans getting cancelled. It put me off. Not like training, but there was no motivation. There was no telling when it was
Hmm.
going to be, maintaining weight. There was no next buzz kind of thing. I spoke to the England coach, and he was like, "John, it's going to be a little while. There's no telling how long, if even so." So that it just not disheartened as much, but it was like, all right, let's have a little look. Let's stay fit and let's see what's happening. Tom Little actually was the one who sent a video to Eddie Hearn, MTK, S-Jam. He put it out there. He got loads of shares. It was a little showboater video, and it went a bit viral kind of thing. It got loads of shares, loads of retweets, and it kind of got me noticed. So all down to Tom again. So I've got to thank him.
I
And
hope you said, hope there's a check in the post for Tom Little.
I think he's hoping for it. He's still checking. But yeah, he set it all up. Sam Jones got in contact, and it went from there. And it was the best move that's ever happened to me.
Because it's an interesting conversation, and it's interesting to hear you talk about it, because one of the big things with coronavirus this year was the Olympics. And it was that thing of like, you know,
Yeah.
shit, all these guys who've trained so hard for the last 4 years in preparation for the Olympics. And now, like, what happens to the guys who this was kind of their final chance, or the girls who this is their last shot at, you know, Olympic golds? What do they do? Do they hang on the 4 years? Do they go turn pro? So it was a bit of a time where we did kind of see people say, right, that's it, I'm done with amateur, I'm going to turn pro, or we just had the debate going, you know. So it's interesting to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, look, I was never gonna. The 2020 Olympics was not so much. I don't think my ability. It was more my age and being. It's a lot more politics than what people realise. You've got to be on the
Yeah.
team a certain amount of time, and if your face fits, obviously you're gonna go there a lot quicker than others. My teammate Jordan Reynolds, he trained with me at Hoddesdon. He boxed out of Hoddesdon Boxing Academy with
Hmm.
me. He was on the GB team, and then he decided to turn pro because things obviously wasn't working for him, and the Olympic dream was over. And that's how quick it can happen in the amateurs. So for 2024, I was more than confident that if I stayed in the amateur game, I was gonna make the Olympic team, and I would have gone to 2024 Paris. But anything can happen, and that's the trouble, Lydia. I'm trying to not think as I'd love to be an Olympian. I think that's one of the best
Hmm.
achievements anyone can say. But who knows? Between now and then, I could break a leg. I could have anything could happen. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to just live for the moment, and when the opportunities come, I think you got to take them, and that's exactly what happened with me. It come at the right time. It was a blessing in disguise, kind of thing. I mean, yeah, we took hold of it, and I'm in the best position. I think with an Olympic background, you're still lucky to get an Eddie Hearn deal, and I
Yeah,
managed to get it
absolutely.
without. So it's brilliant. It's
Absolutely.
brilliant.
And it's one of those things as well that, like, you know, like you say, being an Olympian doesn't guarantee a big contract with Matchroom or with Frank Warren or any of the big promoters. It's a very, very different game. And sometimes we see Olympians that don't particularly do that well, you know, when they turn over to the pro ranks.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but that is something
Yeah,
as
so
well.
yeah,
Go on. There's a little delay, I think.
uh,
But
yeah.
but what is your opinion on amateurs who turn over to the professional ranks and don't do so well? It's a question that I always ask not only fighters but coaches as well, because it's interesting to hear everyone's perspective of why that might not be. And one of the most common things I hear from coaches of why they think that successful amateurs don't do well at professional, is they've reached a certain point of success at the amateurs, and they find it very hard then to start afresh, because the professional game is quite different. And so it's a lot of ego, it's a lot of unwillingness to learn or to adapt to a new game. What would be your opinion of why you think that might be the case?
I I think I have to agree, like kind of thing. It's you can be a cracking amateur, and it can all go different in the pro. It's not the same. If you're a point scorer as such, you can only go. I rated myself as a bit of a point scorer, hence why I done quite well in the amateurs. I was always on my toes, flicky, and no loading up. But I know that I've got to change my style slightly in the pro game, and I think it's when someone perfects a skill and they get so good in the amateurs, they're going up to like world level
Mm-hmm.
in their head mentally. Why would they change the things? They beat the best in Kazakhstan. They beat the best boys out there. So then when they turn pro, it's a big jump for someone to say, you've got to stop doing that. You've got to start planting your feet. You've got to start slowing things down. And I think that is half the reason why it don't go to plan, kind of thing, because you're so used to you're stuck in your ways for the last 12 years. You've learnt your body to be in and out, nice and sharp. Got 3 rounds, make it count, and then straight away it all changes. And also, I think it's a lot about luck. Some amateurs turn pro, and they have 5 wins and then they jump straight in for a title, have a lose there, and it disheartens them and things like that. It's all about the route they take and the luck they get. So, yeah.
Absolutely, you're very right there. You obviously mentioned your former teammate Jordan Reynolds, who we've just seen over the last couple of months turn pro as well. When I interviewed Jordan first, it was the first week that he had come to Dublin to kind of see how he was getting on with Pete Taylor, and the kind of those talk that he was potentially going to join the team. He was going to have the MTK deal, which obviously then came to fruition. But I remember speaking to him, and much like what you were saying now, he was saying, the opportunity is there. I just have to jump on it. I know that I'm dedicated enough and that I will work hard enough to make it work. Is Jordan someone that you would have spoke to about the decision to turn over, or did you like to kind of keep things to yourself and then just announce it and let everyone know?
Yeah, well, me and Jordan are good mates, but it was kind of one of them things. It felt right to me, and I couldn't no one was going to persuade me, kind of thing. I didn't look no further. As soon as Sam got in contact, I didn't even hint or even think about going to MTK or any other managements to even think about joining them. It was just always, my mind was set. Sam done his job. I didn't want to insult him by looking elsewhere. So I literally just, people might say I rushed it, but if I'm happy, in my perspective, that's where I wanted to be. If someone said to me, being an amateur, who would you want to manage you? Sam would have been well up there with the best I could have dreamed of, and I got that. So I didn't need to look no further, and he's made everything come true. So yeah, big shout out to Sam and Adam.
In terms of your own goals looking forward to the future, what are the things that you want to achieve within the sport?
I want to go all the way. I know you like a lot of people obviously say that, and it's stereotype for like especially a young boy to say like world champion that. But I do believe if I take things right and I don't rush, it's the main thing. I don't want to rush into big fights. I just want to enjoy my boxing, mature as a fighter, mature as a person, and then yeah, when the titles are there, just start chasing them and hopefully make my dream come true of being a world champion.
What do you think? What's your perception of what it will take to get there?
I think it's just as much mental as physical, if you know what I mean. It's
Mm-hmm.
about not getting too big headed. If you start getting cracking wins, getting the knockouts, which I honestly do believe I will get, especially at super middleweight, and even as a light heavy, I'm massive at both. I'm 6'5", so I'm hoping I can just convert all my power and start setting on my feet a bit and just being a perfect pro sort of thing. But yeah, I think you got to stay mentally strong, physically strong, and just keep a smile on your face. Do you know what I mean? That's the main thing, more important than anything. If you're not enjoying your boxing, you won't find the best out of someone.
Absolutely. That's not only boxing, that's anything in life. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do well at it, I think.
Exactly right. And you can tell like when you're watching, especially like who was it? Julio Cesar.
Mm-hmm.
Not Julio Cesar. Julio Chavez. His last fight, like he's had some cracking performances fighting Andy Lee and everyone like that. And his last fight, he just didn't want to be there. It was like someone's forced him to get in, and it shows, doesn't it? And I think so you can always tell if someone's unhappy with camp or unhappy with their coach because it shows in their performance. So I think you've got to make sure you make all the right decisions, take your time with things, and yeah, just stay happy with the sport.
Why boxing?
It's running the family sort of thing. My dad boxed, my brother boxed. I was pushed into it really. I was a bit overweight as a kid, so it was a little bit of a. I think my dad thought I was going to be in dead trouble like, if I didn't get some weight off. So
Were you always
yeah,
tall? Were you always tall?
no, I was like a proper little small fat kid to be fair. Like I was a real little chubby one, so I had a bit of maturity at me, and it done me a bit of good. And yeah, it was just yeah, it was forced on me a bit, and then I started enjoying it. At the start though, when I was like 7, 8 year old, I used to cry every time I went into the gym. I hated it, too much shouting like. But yeah, it's mad how things change, and it just fell into place. And I loved it. Yeah, I boxed for Repton, then went to Hoddesdon, and it was down. I've got to say it again, it was down to me coach Sableo that made me enjoy it.
Can you remember a point where you kind of looked at and said, now I'm starting to enjoy it? Like, was it something that happened quite quickly, or was it something that kind of gradually happened over time?
Yeah, so it was as soon as I got to Hoddesdon, I went from I was 13 years old. I was It was like a step up straight away. I got there and he went, "You're too good for the juniors." And I was training with the likes of Jordan Reynolds, who was on
Mm-hmm.
GB or making way for GB, and other seniors in the gym, which are big built men. And I'm this little fat kid, and they helped me and the whole club. Do you know what I mean? I was like looking up to them. I'm on a bag trying to smash the life out of it, and I've got a GB boxer next to me. like being classy about it. And when you're working with that, it's the best environment to be in. I was just amazed. I was like, this fella's got like 3,000 followers. I'm buzzing. I've got 10 or whatever. So yeah, I started there, enjoyed my boxing. Went on a 16 fight win streak, 4 national titles, 7 international titles, and everyone likes winning. So I suppose I got pretty lucky with that.
Absolutely. Of your amateur accolades, what's been your most memorable or favorite title, we'll say, that you won?
I've got 2. I'd say in England, my last one, what I won, the youth title. No, actually, tell a lie, the junior OBA title, because it was my first national title. Yeah, I got to a final the year before, and it was all leading up. Because I got to the final, it was like, this year I'm going to do it. Proved everyone wrong. I had a real hard fight against a real good kid, and I got a unanimous win. And it was the best feeling ever. National champion, calling yourself #1 in England for the first time. It was brilliant. And then we boxed. It was last October. I went to Germany to represent England in the Swearing Box Cup. It was like a European warm up sort of thing. And yeah, I had 2 great performances, standing on the top of the podium next to some I had a European silver medalist I beat. And yeah, it was just unbelievable experience.
I imagine so. And it's funny because how old are you now? You're like 18, right?
Yeah, just turned.
Just turned 18, and it's something that's so apparent when I interview young guys like yourself. I had Dennis McCann obviously on a couple of weeks ago as well, who's another professional that's just has just blown up into
He's smashing it.
he's smashing it, absolutely. But one thing I noticed is that all the guys who are 18, 19, 20 that have come from a really elite level amateur background, they're all seem so much wiser than their years, and there's a level of maturity there. And I'm convinced it has to be the discipline that comes with boxing and the discipline with being such an elite level athlete at such a young age, which goes into the argument or the debate of why putting your kids into a combat sport or a martial art is crucial for their development. Do you know what I mean? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Boxing for discipline is unbelievable. When you see these kids out here and they're not just saying it's the football, but you see these wannabe footballers and they're going to make it and they're all this street talking. You don't get that with boxing because you start doing that, you get in the ring and get annoyed. Do you know what I mean? So
yes.
it's
We're like in our 30s and older. We kind of forget the impact that social media has on the younger generation. It's very important to them. And opinions of people on social media can be it can soak into your mindset, I suppose. So for someone like you that's in a sport that's kind of built on the opinions of boxing fans and social media fans and different things, how do you prepare for that? Because it's inevitable that as you progress in your career, people are going to have opinions of you, good and bad.
I think it's all about just keeping a straight head, like we were saying at the start. Just if the opinion said, listen, you're on to bigger and better things than them, and just not take notice of it. Like, to be honest with you, when I first signed for SJam, I went through YouTube. It was like I had like 100 odd comments or whatever, going through all lovely comments, and you see one and it does that, and you're like, saying stupid, or he's not good enough, blah blah blah, or got a dodgy trim, or saying stupid. Do you know what I mean? But it takes your eye, doesn't it? So like you're looking at it and you think, oh, you absolute sausage. Like, but when what you even getting yourself worked up about that for? Do you know what I mean? It's just some absolute idiot just trying to get yourself a mention or whatever else. But listen, you should be happy for everyone doing something with their life and doing something with their career. So I think people who do hate and things, you just got to leave them to it. They're just obviously not people you need around you.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the important message to get out. It's not about, I always think that it's not about blocking out the negative. It's about how you deal with the negative. Do you know? And if you just have a mindset of,
definitely,
they don't matter to me, or if you think about how unhappy maybe someone is when they do write something negative on the internet, then it kind of gives you a place of sort of, I can just get over that, or it just goes over your head. And I make the mistake as well. I do it a lot of times as well, where I like read the comments on YouTube and stuff like that. And it's like stuff her accent is so stupid. Why is she speaking like that? And it's like, because this is an Irish accent, so you can't win. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, they've obviously got nothing better to do. And if they're talking about you, they're talking about you for a reason. So you're obviously doing something where they don't like. So there you go. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. And, you know, something else that I noticed as well in a lot of the media stuff that you've done this week in particular, John, is the sort of kind of vocalization of speaking about being a traveler and the kind of the community that you come from, and speaking about it and being filled with pride of where you come from, who you are, and having that come across in the media. And as somebody who interviews a lot of boxers that come from a traveller boxing, it's really refreshing to see the younger generation now taking it into their hands and speaking about it, and speaking about the trials and the tribulations that might go with it. Is that something that's important to you? Because at a young age, you know, you will be forgiven for not wanting to get, you know,
Yeah.
political or emotional, or, you know, just wanting to get out and box and not want to think about anything else, you know. But is it important for you to talk about your heritage and where you come from?
Yeah, definitely. I think we get so much, not saying we don't get good, because we do get good publicity, but
Mm-hmm.
travellers as a general do get a lot of bad publicity. And there's a lot of,
Yes.
like, Channel 4 made a documentary just recently and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And right now, especially this time, like this generation, with Tyson Fury, Billy Joe, Andy Lee, all being about this time. I know there's always been travelling boxers before, but I feel like we're on the top we've ever been. I think the best in the boxing business that's ever happened for travellers is now Nathan Gorman, another one, and they're all showing. So I think if to be proud is now's the main time. We're proper
Mm-hmm.
proving it. We're on the media. We're selling view like before. We could never sell a fight. There was always this thing. Oh, they wouldn't watch him because he's a traveller, and it was quite big at the time. I remember Billy Joe saying when he first turned pro, when he was on pay-per-view fights, they wasn't selling any tickets, so they would always put him the second fight on an undercard, even if he was the main fight. And it shouldn't be like that. Do you know what I mean? Because you watch someone for their boxing personality. If you don't get on with someone, that's fair enough. But he's a classy fighter at the end of the day, and that's what you should be watching.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson Fury, he's the one who's proved it. Inside, outside the ring, he's made loads of mistakes. He's owned up to making the mistakes, and he's still getting on. And I think he's a top role model. I think he's well up there with the best.
I would agree with you, and especially in that with Tyson, I think what propels him to a role model status is the fact that he has been so vocal about being human and making mistakes and acknowledging them and saying, yeah, I have made these mistakes, I'm human, I've learned from them, and I'm not going to let them happen again, which is ultimately what you want in a role model, right?
Yeah, definitely. And everyone makes mistakes. Like he said, everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes, but he come out of it. And I think there's a lot of people who make these mistakes that don't come out of it, and they don't get the publicity because they haven't owned up. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got to remember that when looking at it, people only hate him for the things he's done because he's told them. He was big enough of a man to say the struggles he had, and he's corrected it. At the end of the day, he's made the best comeback of any human as in boxing has made. I believe.
I hear you. So while we were talking, everyone has an opportunity to send in some questions. So I'm just going to have a look in the question box and see what everyone wants to ask you.
Lovely.
So Dylan Carter has asked, who was your toughest fight at amateur?
Toughest fight as an amateur, I'd have to say. Oh, I would have to say. I don't know, Neil. I've had my best fight is the junior ABA one against Christy Collins. Boxed him twice. I beat him twice, but we had two very good fights. So there's two very hard fights as well. There was both hard fight. I'd never say it was an easy fight. So yeah, I'd put it down to him because it was a talked about fight. Two big champions in amateurs. Me and him boxed each other twice, and it was two great fights. Do you know what I mean? Both putting a finger up at the end, both thinking we won, and I was lucky enough to get the nod both times. But it was a hard fight and a good fight.
Have you fought any Irish boys?
Well, he was partly Irish, Christy,
Oh, was he? Oh,
Irish
of
travelling
course.
family. Yeah, so it was like two travelling families, England versus Ireland. I mean, Facebook media. Me and him stayed good throughout, but it sold. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was talking about it. Oh, it's going to be a big one. This, I wonder what happens. Is he going to kick off? We weren't about all that. We're both just. He's a gentleman. I like to portray myself as a gentleman, and yeah, we got on with it. And it was a cracking fight. Everyone enjoyed it, so it was good. Proper sold out, like.
Brilliant. Okay, let's have a look. Darren O'Neill has asked, he said, obviously new to the sport now, but if you had to, sorry, I'm trying to read this out. If you had to call out for any fighter, who would it be now? I think I get what he's trying to say. He's basically saying, you know, you're new to the sport. It's obviously probably not, you know, the done thing to just break onto scene and start calling people out. But if you had to have a dream fight right now, who would it be?
I'd say Tom Little because I'm texting him to say sorry after the video. Nah, yeah. I couldn't say. Listen, I've not proved myself as a pro without being boring and not answering the question. But I've not proved myself, and that's the worst thing I think someone can do: call someone out before they prove themselves as a fighter. So yeah, let me have a couple of fights, let me prove myself, and then ask the question again.
We'll
I'll give
get
you
you
something.
back on. We'll get you back on in a couple of years, right?
That'll do. That'll do.
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, there's a good one. Kira Smith has asked, "How do you stay so dedicated to your sport how do you how do you stay so dedicated to your sport at such a young age? I find it so hard to stay in on one weekend and not go out."
Big up. To be honest with you, it's more to the fact I want to be someone. I want to do something. I want to make it in boxing. It's always been my dream, and I'm not gonna lie. I was always big for my age. At 15, I'd done everything kind of what I should be doing now as an 18-year-old. I had IDs or whatever else was the crack at the time. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't lie about it. I kind of done all that bit of nightlife and a bit of clubbing and that, and yeah, I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. Obviously, it's good, and like, being a young boy and that, and enjoying my life. But because I've got that in now, I feel like I'm not missing out. I know what it's all about. I don't need to rush to a club, and that's the main reason why I'm constant. I can focus because I don't feel like I'm missing out on nothing. I'm quite grateful for everything.
It's not worth it, let me tell you. A good 15 years
Yeah, it's just
experience in it, it's not worth
it's good for the night. You regret it in the morning, don't you?
it. Yeah, totally, 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 especially at my age. Okay, let's see. Karen O'Neill has asked, if you had to quarantine with 5 people, dead or alive, who would you choose?
I'll choose. What we talking boxers or just people in
It can be
general?
anyone. It can be boxers, celebrities, actors, musicians.
All right. Let's have 5 people. All right, I'll chuck Tyson Fury as one. Definitely
Great choice.
Tyson because he's got a good old personality. Leonardo DiCaprio to see if I really do look like him. He'd be number 2. Then I reckon I'd have to chuck like
Shit,
someone
you
like
actually
Beyonce in
do
there.
look like Leonardo DiCaprio. I've just realised that now.
Oh, get up. Yes. Oh, that bit we got to crop that. That's got to be a video on its own. That bit. But yeah, Leonardo, chuck someone in like Beyonce, Alicia Keys, one of them. Good singers, aren't they? And quite good looking as well. So, who else? Tom Little is my old mate, and I've got to have Tom with me. And I'd have last one. Oh, Nelly. I like a bit of Nelly.
Oh,
He's
Nelly
a bit.
Furtado
He's
or
got a bit of
the
coolness to
rapper?
him, isn't he? The rapper
Oh, the
Nelly.
rapper. It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, getting on it. That's the one. Yeah. We have a bit of him in there with me in quarantine. I tell you.
I could get behind that. Get behind that. Right, let's have one more. Okay. Okay, we'll take 2 more. So Shane Smith has asked, predictions on how long it will take you to get to world champion status.
I'd like to say I want to do it quick. Obviously, I want to be a young world champion. However, I've got to be realistic as well, and I don't want to rush. Obviously, I'd say in 3 years' time, maximum, we'll be looking near that level. I'd like to say that now, anyways. After my pro debut, it might be a complete different story. But from sitting here now, I'd like to say in 2 years' time, I'll be where I want to be, and then 3 years' time, I'll be where I dream of being.
Good answer. Okay, very last one. Amelia Clark has asked, what if anything have you been watching in quarantine that we should be checking out?
All right, a very good one now. Everyone's got to watch it. Brian Banks. I don't know if you've seen it.
So I think someone was
It's
telling me about this. Is this about some guy that he was prosecuted for something that he didn't do?
yeah, that's it. So
Who
he as
told
a
Lyndon
16-year-old
Arthur?
boy.
I think Lyndon Arthur, when I interviewed him, he was like, "You have to check this out."
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, honestly, it's the best thing I've watched in ages, to be honest. And yeah, I watched it last night, so it was only fresh as well. But yeah, it was brilliant. It's oh well, I won't ruin it. I won't ruin it. But yeah, watch it. Brian
Is
Banks on
is it on
Netflix.
Netflix? It's on Netflix. Okay,
Yeah, 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 it's brilliant.
good. Anything else? Any other recommendations?
I'd say watching Top Boy, obviously, but it's getting old now. Everyone's probably seen it. I'll tell you something was good. It's a bit of a weird one. Is a thing called Caliphate. It was about like and going into ISIS sort of thing. So if you like them like terrorist kind of, I don't know, like them type of films, but
Yeah,
that was quite good because it shows you it's quite realistic. Do you know what I mean? It shows you what's going on in like Syria and everything like that. And you can get into that, yeah. So it's called Caliphate. That's a decent series.
brilliant. Okay, there's one really good question that's after coming in, and then I'm going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. But
Yeah, no, lovely.
Shane Smith has asked, have you thought about a walkout tune yet? And if not, what do you think you'll go for?
Yeah, I've got my walkout tune sorted. So have you heard? It's called It's Big John by Jimmy Dean. So it's a country song, but it literally, honestly, it's as close to like the words in it. It's like it goes. He's 6'5". It says 240 pounds in the song, but I'll put it on my story so everyone can see it. But it's literally made for me, so I'm copywriting it. No one else is taking it. Big John for John Hedges. All right, so that's that's how it's going.
Brilliant. An
But that's
exclusive.
it's a proper tune. Yeah, it's a good one. It's not modern. It's proper old school, but yeah, it's going to be remembered. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones when you're like, that song. It's like it's been written for me, so it's good.
Good stuff. Brilliant. Right. Well, listen, thank you so much, John. Appreciate you taking the time. That was great.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me on here.
And listen,
Take
I'm
care.
really excited to see what happens over the next couple of months with you. And hopefully, once the fight gets announced and media are allowed back into the shows, we'll get to do a proper interview down the line.
That'd be lovely. Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you.
No
Speak to you
problem.
soon.
Take it easy. Bye bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye.